Hello, everybody. It's Philip Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat, and today is the 28th of December. It's a Tuesday, and click on the subscribe button here in the lower right if you want to subscribe, and also the notification bell in the far upper right to be notified when new episodes are released. Today's topic is titled Needed, Wartime Consiglieres. Recall from The Godfather that after Michael announced plans to relocate the Corleone family to Las Vegas, he failed to reappoint Tom Hagen, Robert Duvall's character, to his customary post as Consigliere. Tom was a lawyer, not a street smart hoodlum. Nevertheless, he privately questioned Michael. Here's the dialogue. Tom: Mike, why am I out? Michael: you're not a wartime consigliere, Tom. Things could get rough with the move we're making. Don Corleone comes into the conversation. Tom: I advise Michael. I never thought you were a bad consigliere. I thought Santino was a bad Don. Rest in peace. Michael has all my confidence, as do you. But there are reasons you must have nothing to do with what is going to happen next. Tom: well, maybe I could help. Michael: you're out, Tom. You're out. For decades prior to 2015, Confederate heritage has been under a Trojan Horse attack. Our youth was taught in colleges and even high school that Confederate leaders were irredeemably immoral and even inferior militarily. That's why Ulysses Grant's reputation has waxed over the last 40 years as Robert E. Lee's has waned. That has nothing to do with slavery. That has to do with the hatred academia feels for the Southerner and their deliberate attempt to tear down Southern icons. At least one academic critic actually ridicules Confederate statues as, quote, participation trophies, close quote, for the losers. In at least one online interview, he laughs at the fighting qualities of the typical Southern soldier and jokes about it with the interviewer. In 2015, the attack transformed from a Trojan Horse operation to a frontal assault. Confederate memorials have been removed, sometimes by mobs who ignored the illegality of their actions with impunity. Most recently, Charlottesville decided to donate an artistic Robert E. Lee equestrian statue to a group that will melt down the bronze to create a new work celebrating America's so-called racial reckoning. They did something like this in Richmond when they put up a laser hologram glorifying George Floyd, who was killed in Minneapolis by an arresting policeman. But George Floyd was also a convict. He had served jail time. He had a long criminal record. And he is what Richmond wants to put in place of the statues that were on Monument Avenue of Confederate heroes. It's time for Confederate heritage opponents to get wartime consiglieres. Too often, they let politicians ignore statutory protections for Confederate memorials. Too often, they politely file lawsuits and spend tons of money to defend the statues, only to have the suits dismissed by politically sensitive judges, if not outright biased judges. Unfortunately, few, if any, Southern heritage organizations have wartime consiglieres. There are better examples in the realm of politics where the opponents are the political left versus the political right, and the issues seldom touch on Confederate memorials. One example appears to be my home state of Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis firmly opposes the centralization of power in Washington and does not back down even when President Biden tries to stir up hatred against him for his opposition to masking. DeSantis has flatly opposed, from the beginning of his term almost, he has flatly opposed critical race theory in the state's public schools because it assumes that the races are divided into two factions, victims and oppressors, a postulate almost certain to promote racial division. By comparison, my two senators, as opposed to my governor, are career politicians who are Republicans in name only. Although I'm unaware of his stand on Confederate memorials, today's video was inspired by Arkansas senatorial candidate Jake Beckwith, who is running as a, quote, wartime conservative, comma. He's the one that got me to thinking about the wartime consigliere, because he has picked that up for himself and calls himself a wartime conservative. Now, to go to a wartime consigliere needs to go on the offensive. And for Confederate heritage proponents to go on the offensive, they need facts. And the books that have come out of academia for the last 40 years provide facts selectively. They don't provide facts that will help make the case for Confederate memorials. This book does, Causes of the Civil War by Philip Lee. You can get it at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. Just order it online. And if you want to contact me, if you want to get an autographed copy, it's $22 at any fine bookstore. Okay, that's our show for today, and thanks for watching.